I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the JayZ documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but JayZ acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
JayZ is reportedly panicking after federal agents uncovered a shocking video linked to Diddy. And insiders say this footage could blow the entire industry wide open for years. Whispers about secret recordings, hidden deals, and high-level betrayals surrounded both men. But now, with the FBI digging deeper, people are wondering if JayZ's empire is finally at risk. What's in that video, and why is JayZ scrambling behind the scenes? Stay tuned! This story gets darker really fast. The news about Diddy's arrest shocked everyone, but it wasn't really unexpected. What if all of this is part of a bigger game, one that might involve betrayal from someone close to him? Maybe even someone like JayZ? The rumor going around now is that Diddy, one of the biggest names in music, may have been set up by his own collaborator. It sounds wild, but people believe his arrest wasn't random at all. Some think it was planned by people inside his own circle. One commentator even reacted emotionally, saying he always gets that gut feeling when situations like this happen. He explained that Diddy has always been viewed as a hip-hop hero, someone who did extraordinary things, and insisting that pretending Diddy wasn't a huge part of people's childhoods would be a lie. But underneath that nostalgia was a sense of grief, like another icon had ruined his own legacy through bad decisions. Things took a turn. When Diddy suddenly relocated to New York, on the surface, it looked like he was getting ready for an unavoidable legal battle. His lawyer, Mark Agni Philo, even released a statement calling Diddy a music icon and a self-made entrepreneur, saying he voluntarily came to New York ahead of the charges. But what happened next didn't feel as simple as the official narrative. A reporter said he had information that Diddy was arrested in a Manhattan hotel and was being processed, repeating the same statement from Diddy's attorney about him relocating in advance that night. Federal agents raided his hotel and took him into custody with no resistance. The charges had been looming for months, but the timing felt suspicious. People started asking how someone as experienced as Diddy, who dodged major consequences for decades, could be caught so easily. Another reporter went live saying Diddy had just been taken into federal custody. Sources told TMZ that Homeland Security stormed a Midtown hotel and arrested him immediately. Fans and insiders began to question the real story. If Diddy knew an arrest was coming, why return to New York at all? Some think he walked straight into a trap, believing he had a chance to negotiate, clear his name, or even protect himself. And that's where JayZ's name came into the mix. One critic went off saying people wake up every day and volunteer lies, and then question how anyone could trust a word. Diddy said he pointed out that Diddy would still be lying if no video had surfaced, and even noted that Diddy didn't genuinely apologize to Cassie in his apology video. For years, Diddy and JayZ were seen as rivals, allies, or something in between. Their friendship was always complicated, full of support at times, but also heavy competition. JayZ once said they pushed and inspired each other, calling it a beautiful relationship of natural competitiveness. But what if that competitiveness crossed a line? What if JayZ knew Diddy was about to face a major storm and used the moment to distance himself and protect his own position? One theory online suggests JayZ may have played a quiet role in Diddy's downfall, not by turning him in, but by guiding him straight into law enforcement's hands. Imagine Diddy feeling the pressure and then getting a call from JayZ. Maybe JayZ hinted at an FBI deal, or suggested cooperation would help him with JayZ's power. It's not hard to imagine him pulling strings behind the scenes. In one lawsuit, someone even claimed that Diddy was the Epstein of the rap world, desperate to protect what was left of his legacy. Diddy takes the bait. He goes to New York thinking he's about to negotiate, but instead walks into a hotel where agents are waiting. They arrest him immediately while JayZ stays untouched, continuing his life as one of the biggest power players in music. So now everyone's asking, did JayZ tip off the authorities, or did he just let everything play out, knowing that with Diddy gone, his own empire would grow uncontested? Honestly, this wouldn't be the first time. JayZ's name has been tied to shady behind-the-scenes moves. His rise in the industry has always come with rumors. He's never been linked to anything as explosive as Diddy's situation. But people close to both men say JayZ has a way of dodging trouble while keeping his hands clean. He's a businessman, and in business, even friendships can become collateral damage. Then there's Diddy's own circle. He didn't operate alone. He was surrounded by people who claimed to be loyal.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like
to us, black excellence, right?
that had to be there.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. They brought you like,
I hate you.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Come on, man.
But in a world built on power and money, loyalty shifts fast. Now there are rumors that some of his closest associates may have played a role in setting him up, whether out of fear or self-preservation. The idea that insiders cooperated with law enforcement isn't hard to believe, and those claims have been stacking for years. Tragic incidents, illegal activities, and more. While Diddy settle many cases quietly, the sheer number of allegations suggest that plenty of people around him knew a lot more than they ever said out loud. So could the insiders, people Diddy trusted for decades, have decided to save themselves and work with authorities for immunity? Definitely Hollywood and the music world have seen that kind of betrayal more than once. When a lawyer in a TMZ interview was asked if Diddy had any chance of walking away clean, he said it wasn't impossible, but he didn't see it happening. He even compared Diddy to R. Kelly, saying both operated for decades with impunity, hurting people while avoiding serious consequences. The theory that Diddy was framed by his own people looks even stronger when you look at the timing of the arrest. Why did law enforcement wait so long, especially when allegations were piling up for months? Some believe the delay gave his inner circle time to separate themselves and negotiate protection. By the time Diddy showed up in New York, the setup was already in motion. Industry insiders echoed this, saying plenty of people worked for him and that the stories everyone is hearing now have been whispered about for years. One name that keeps surfacing is Rodney Little Rod Jones, a former associate who filed a lawsuit against Diddy last year. His claims about hidden cameras in Diddy's homes and secret recordings of powerful people doing questionable things poured fuel on the fire. According to Jones, Diddy kept compromising footage of celebrities, executives, and athletes at his famous parties. Footage that could destroy reputations instantly. Some people now think the arrest might be tied to this footage and that JayZ and other major names wanted to make sure none of it ever leaked. But here's the twist. What if JayZ and the others weren't just trying to protect themselves from the recordings? What if they saw a chance to remove Diddy entirely? By handing him over to the authorities, they could secure their own futures, wipe out any threats to their reputations, and take out one of their biggest competitors in the process. One analyst even hinted at this, saying, Diddy's lawyers know what he's gonna beat and what he ain't gonna beat, suggesting the legal team knew exactly how things would unfold. When you look at the sudden settlement of Cassie's lawsuit, the raids on Diddy's properties, and all the whispers about JayZ, it starts to look like a carefully planned takedown. And if JayZ really was involved, it would be one of the biggest betrayals in hip-hop history. Think about it. Two of the most powerful figures in the industry, once friends, collaborators, and rivals, now caught in a dangerous game of power and self-preservation. Diddy trapped under a pile of accusations, and JayZ possibly pulling strings behind the scenes to keep his own empire clean. As new details come out, one thing is obvious. This story is nowhere near finished. Diddy may be in custody, but the real truth behind how he got there is still unfolding, and whether JayZ was directly involved or not. His name is now permanently tied to the downfall of someone who was once one of his closest friends. But here's the other side of it. Even if Diddy was framed, a lot of people believe he's far from innocent. Many say this has been coming for years. He's been at the center of controversy after controversy. And his arrest feels like the climax of a long trail of allegations and shady behavior. While it's easy to get lost in the drama about JayZ or Diddy's circle potentially betraying him, the truth is that Diddy's problems run much deeper. One comment summed it up by saying everything happening now is tied together, and that even the craziest parts somehow connect. Diddy started his rise in the early 90s and quickly became a force. As a producer, record executive, and entrepreneur, he built Bad Boy Records into a powerhouse and even launched legends like Biggie and Faith Evans. But with success came darker whispers. People said Diddy wasn't just a businessman. He was someone who played by his own rules, even when those rules weren't legal or ethical. His aggressive style created enemies, and enemies always bring accusations. Over the years, he's been linked to multiple incidents that made him look like someone who operated outside the lines. One of the most infamous moments was the 1999 nightclub G situation in New York. A scuffle broke out, a G was fired, and 3 people were injured. Diddy, Jennifer Lopez, and his protege, Shine, were all caught up in it. Shine went to prison while Diddy walked away, almost untouched, insisting he had nothing to do with the situation. But a lot of people never believed. That version of events behind the scenes rumors spread that Diddy used his influence to dodge consequences, leaving Shine to take the fall for the entire situation. As the years passed, Diddy's reputation for aggressive business tactics only grew stronger. The industry is known for being cutthroat, but people said Diddy pushed it even further. Rumors swirled about intimidation, backdoor deals, and even claims that he sabotaged other artists to keep himself on top. Some insiders said his biggest power wasn't just talent, it was his control of the narrative, whether through payouts or fear. Newscasters eventually reported more problems, seeing a judge order Diddy to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who claimed Diddy essayed him at a Holiday Inn after-party in 1997. Diddy didn't respond to the lawsuit, and like many of his cases, it disappeared quietly through settlement. This pattern of private settlements made people wonder what was being hidden. Dozens of lawsuits from former employees and associates claiming mistreatment or financial issues ended the same way. It added to the belief that Diddy had plenty to cover up. Court documents even mentioned Sean Diddy Combs 77 times in filings tied to Tupac, and the rumors kept coming. Some fans and insiders believed Diddy had deeper ties to law enforcement than anyone expected. For years, there's been speculation that Diddy acted as an FBI informant, which would explain how he avoided major consequences again and again. These theories claim he traded information for protection, helping him survive scandal after scandal without serious fallout. The informant theory grew even stronger after several high-profile incidents seemed to hint at cooperation with authorities. One example was the 1997 assassination of the notorious Big Did. He always insisted he had no idea who was behind it, but some believe he knew far more than he shared. There were even whispers that he helped authorities investigate people connected to the case. Nothing has been proven, but the idea he was protected by law enforcement refuses to fade. This theory gets even more interesting when you look at Diddy's long feud with Suge Knight, the feared co-founder of Death Row Records. Their rivalry was one of the most intense in hip-hop, and Dwayne Keefe D. Davis even claimed Diddy paid for a hit on Tupac. Even though Diddy and Suge later downplayed their beef, the rumors from that harsh era never stopped following them. There's also no denying that their conflict fueled years of paranoia and played into the demise of both Tupac and Biggie. Some people believe Diddy's rumored cooperation with the FBI may have been a way to protect himself from SU's camp. Nothing is proven, but even a little truth would show a man who stayed safe in power, influence, and fear, and now that protection may be collapsing. In a rare moment, Diddy said it was difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but that sometimes you have no choice. Still, his reputation isn't built only on alleged crimes. It also comes from years of accusations about ruthless business practices. Former Bad Boy artists said they were financially exploited, with publicly accusing Diddy of withholding royalties and locking him into unfair contracts. He even called Diddy a hypocrite for preaching black empowerment while allegedly undermining the very artists who helped build his empire. Legal experts also pointed out that federal prosecutors in New York have been looking into Diddy for months. One piece of information said that if charges come, they'll probably look a lot like what his accusers have been describing. The irony is that Diddy always seemed untouchable for years. Even as rumors and accusations piled up, nothing stuck. He always managed to dodge consequences that others would have faced immediately. But now, with his arrest and all the evidence building up, it looks like his luck has finally run out. The industry that once protected him is backing away, and the people closest to him are separating themselves to avoid getting dragged into the fallout. And while the rumors about JayZ or others possibly setting him up are dramatic, they highlight a bigger truth. Did he made a lot of enemies, whether from business deals gone bad, artists who felt wronged, or rivals in the music industry? There's no shortage of people who wouldn't mind seeing him fall. And now it seems those forces finally succeeded, putting him in a position where he can't talk or pay his way out. But the biggest question still hangs in the air. If Diddy really was cooperating with law enforcement all of these years, why didn't that protect him? Now, some people think he broke an agreement with the FBI or became too much of a liability to keep shielding. Others believe this whole arrest is part of a bigger plan to remove him from power. A plan involving people in the industry and law enforcement who saw him as a threat, while Diddy's past is full of questionable choices. The idea that he may have been framed by people close to him adds a tragic twist. If JayZ or others really betrayed him, it would be one of the biggest scandals in hip-hop history. A legal analyst even explained one move against him, saying the plaintiff filed for a temporary restraining order to stop Diddy from selling his Los Angeles home, and that order was likely granted to freeze his assets. But regardless of what JayZ or his inner circle did, Diddy isn't blameless. His empire was built on controversy, manipulation, and years of allegations. He played a dangerous game for a long time, and framed or not, it looks like that game finally caught up to him. This arrest may be the final move in a very messy chess match, but his role in his own downfall can't be ignored. He had plenty of chances to change course, step away from the chaos, and build a clean legacy. Instead, he kept pushing the line, and now he's paying for it. With the FBI digging deeper and whispers about hidden footage spreading fast, this is only the beginning. Well, that video exposed the truth. Is JayZ protecting or hiding something bigger, and will Diddy's downfall pull more powerful names into the spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next update. This story is unfolding in real time, and trust us, the next chapter is about to get even wilder.